Right.
Bit
So,
harsh.
well, Mark tries to be funny, but I don't think he's generally successful. I'm joking. You're funny guy, Mark. Just me.
That's
That's
the
my joke.
funniest thing you've said all pod.
Hey, bit of punch. Right. So, um, for the most part, I was looking at the games this weekend, and I don't know if you guys will agree or not, but pretty much, I know we talk a lot of Man United. Unfortunately, we'll probably do this week in, week out. It's probably the only interesting game of the weekend. I don't know about you. Do you think, before we jump into that, do you think there's anything worth talking about? It's pretty much standard.
I do think that whenever there's more games on a Sunday than a Saturday, there's something not quite right, and it's never going to be a good weekend of football. It was weird that.
Why do they do that? You think like if they just keep the same format, it'd be pretty much straightforward, but I don't know.
Yeah,
There was
and
more
even
games at 2 o'clock on Sunday, weren't there, than 3 o'clock on Saturday, which is weird.
yeah, and even the games they picked to televise outside of the Man United Chelsea game was an odd choice. So
Yeah, it's poor. I mean,
Yeah, why would they not pick the Man City West Ham? I would have definitely watched that game. When they picked Brentford Everton, weird.
I don't mind that game. I guess sometimes. I mean, I'm pretty much. I don't think I've actually watched the Norwich game this season, and every time they come up on Match of the Day, I pretty much like that's game
No,
over.
no.
Yeah, have they ever been not last in Match of the Day?
they wasn't this week, were they? I thought it was
No.
another 0-0 after.
Well, they were,
There was
because
2
they were-
0-0s, weren't they?
Yeah,
There
and
was
they were
2-0.
still last. They were
Yeah,
still
they were
last.
still dead last.
Because the Brighton 0-0 at least was actually a good game. Like Brighton could have
Yeah.
had 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, Lamptey looking great.
He's back. They've got to get him in the team now.
Well, I don't know. I think Brighton are on the slip here. I don't know if they're going to do
Well,
it.
their fans booed them off. That was their.
It's ridiculous, wasn't it? What is going on?
Yeah, see,
I feel like sometimes people don't watch it and they just look up. Oh, 0-0, boo! It's a boring game.
They literally hammered Leeds. They could have scored 4 or 5. They're just terrible finishing from
Yeah.
Morpay as usual. And they boo the manager. What are they doing?
Do you know, we talk transfers. I had a random thought this week. I was like, if Brighton just had like Timo Pukki, some kind of striker, they might be.
For the last 2 years, if Brighton had a good striker that could finish, they'd be finishing top half every year. I mean, it's just nonsense that I don't know why they're not going and buying one.
Well, who's available? I mean, if you look at it, it's like, what are they going to do? Get someone like Rondon or fucking.
There's got to be someone better than Morpay, surely.
Well, when you think of people like Ollie Watkins, where he got him from Brentford and stuff like that, there's definitely strikers out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's tons of the Championship.
Yeah.
Not even looking to get a striker that is world class. You just want someone that can score. The joke again, we keep saying, is like 10 to 15 goals a season up front.
Like a Charlie Austin type. Like QPR would come up and buy him, or what the teams that come up would always just buy a goal scorer.
Josh King.
Yeah, just get a goal scorer. And
Yeah.
you score so many goals. They create so many chances.
Josh King is a good one because
Ah,
only
great
a
sign.
few years ago he was well linked with United, weren't he? And it's funny how you can be
Watford
flavouring
picked
them
him
up.
up for free, didn't they?
Well,
that's
Ronnie
it.
might be available. Now he's starting on the bench. He's on the way out, isn't he?
Yeah, they were saying the interim manager's first decision is to put himself on the bench. So there was a lot of rumours. Ronaldo basically is just running things. So he selflessly put himself on the bench against Chelsea.
Is that what happened? I thought because obviously afterwards they were talking about what's his name? What's the new manager's name, Dan?
Carrick.
No, the other guy.
Oh, Ralph Rangnick.
Ralph Rangnick. Wait, well pronounced. Yeah, I thought. Isn't it obviously they thought he was picking a team sheet for this week? And
Well, that's what Gary Neville tweeted, wasn't it? Saying this doesn't look like Carrick's team. It's so different to Wednesday, and it's like, yeah. So he just out of nowhere just spread that rumor. I was like, that would be such a surprising thing to do, to be like, all right, I'm not going to be involved with this game. I'll wait for the next one, but just make sure you drop Ronaldo.
Well, no, the only reason he's not involved is he couldn't get his work permit. He got the job, but he can't have a work permit, so he can't legally take the job yet. So that's why he couldn't.
It's so funny. He hasn't got a work permit, so he's just sitting there waiting, like sitting in the cafeteria.
He is there. He could. There's no reason why he couldn't.
No one can talk to you, Rags. All right, you're not working yet. Just sit there in the corner, not saying a word.
But I mean, you have to say, like, I know they did it in all the analysis. We don't have to go into it, but even in the first 2 or 3 minutes, and it was probably only the first 2 or 3 minutes, but the amount of pressing that they tried to do in the first 2 or 3 minutes is more than they've done in the last 6 months. So something was up.
No, see, I think that like it's funny. I don't want to go too much into Sky's pundits, but that was what Roy Keane was saying. Like it's kickoff. You just naturally, because you're going into the other half, like he was like, everyone presses for the first 2 minutes because you start in your own half. So then you kick off and you go, and it's like, oh,
yeah, but it wasn't just that they were pressing, it was that they were actually pressing correctly, in that one was going for one, another was going for another. If you've watched United recently, where they've tried to press, they don't know who to go. So Bruno will go, and then he's sort of waving someone over, and then Fred will come, and then someone else will come, but they've missed someone, so then there's just a free
I can appreciate you saying that, Dan, but there's absolutely no way in the span of how many days it's been that they've actually become that much more proficient based on what
it's more to do with the players.
Sessions.
Yeah.
I think it was said, I don't know who said it, if it was Match of the Day or Sky Sports. You know, the players just stopped running for Ole, and now they're just running. Like, that's all it is.
For a new manager, well, if I knew that the manager coming in, if I'm one of those players, and I know the manager coming in is Ralph Rangnick, and that's how he plays, that's what he's looking for. In my first game, I'm going to make sure my stats look bloody great. I'm going to run my arse off. I'm going to press. I'm going to do everything because I want 100%.
100%. Although I'm not sure I'm convinced by the fact that they actually went out to try and win the game. I think
they didn't try and win at all.
It's a bit of he's playing some porkies here.
No, I think it's just a player selection. I don't think they were thinking about I think had Ollie played that team, they would have pressed as well. The problem is I've said it on this pod loads. There's certain players that just are passengers when they don't have the ball, and it's
names. Who are you trying to save?
Martial,
Ronaldo, Martial, Pogba. Like I think in every Ollie's team there was always at least one of those players playing. So I think if Ollie played that starting 11, they probably would have pressed as well. But it's just you are missing something without them. Because let's face it, like apart from Jorginho's mistake, which looks like it might have cost him the Ballon d'Or now, he was favourite until that mistake, and then but other than that, we didn't look like scoring, and
lost 4 or 5-0.
And that's what Keane was saying. With Ronaldo, granted, he's not going to track as well. He's not going to do something. But at least you think every corner, every cross, you have some hope where, to be honest, you didn't. Yeah. So
that might be his role, isn't it? The most expensive super sub that's ever lived.
And at 37, I have no issue. Like, when we signed him...
It's fine you not having an issue. Will Ronaldo have an issue?
If he's got to be a super sub for the right games, if that makes sense. So that, like, dropping him against Chelsea is a big game to drop him for. But when we play a team lower in the league, having him come on later in the game, you balance it that way. But dropping him
but hold on, Mark. So you disagree with him being benched for a team like Chelsea? Because for me, he's not good enough to be playing against the big sides. He's a detriment to your team. So I would imagine you'd want him coming on for the bigger teams, because if you need him, then you can score.
I don't know if he is a detriment. See, it's a bit of a mix. Yeah, we're only qualified from the Champions League.
You lot are just Man United fans, honestly. That's ridiculous.
As you're about to say, Mark, the only reason we're out of the Champions League is because of Ronaldo. It's the only reason.
It is. Ronaldo's that he's sort of paid his own fees purely from the group stage of the Champions League.
Yeah, well, there's more than 15 million that it costs to get him that you get from getting through the Champions League. So for sure, he's already paid.
So is it fair to say that you guys agree with Roy Keane to say that Ronaldo's really there just to win cups? The Premier League really isn't your main focus. It's just get him in there for the Champions League, and hopefully he does.
No, I don't think that was the decision.
Yeah,
they took.
No, but he's signed to win stuff, and we're not to win a league. You have to be consistent over the 38 games, and what City and Liverpool have set the bar at is you have to be at least 36 of those 38 games you have to be good for, because they've set the bar so high, and Ronaldo doesn't elevate Man United enough to be good for 36 out of 38 games. But what he does do is he raises a quality player in that 11 that at any moment he could get a goal. And what does that help? Cup games. So you don't sign a single player to win a league, especially the Premier League now. Like you can't just have one player and that turn it around. You need more than one. You need a few. So
you talk about the idea of he comes in to elevate other players. But if you look at the Premier League, can you say that he's elevated Man United within the Premier League? Yeah, he's there for cups, but you also want him to participate and elevate them in the Premier League, surely.
And he has in games, but he can't do it every week. Like the West Ham, who's obviously gone on to be show they're actually a good team. We only beat West Ham because of him. Like he was like our best player. And Newcastle, that everyone was elevated because he just came, but he can't do it every single week. And that's it. It's how you balance it and say he can't win us a league because he can't play every single game plus cup competitions and then still raise the team. And also, I think the Premier League's too strong for a single player to win it. So
I think that's fair. I mean, De Bruyne has been Player of the Year and not won the league. Salah's been Player of the Year and not won the league. You can have the best player and still not win the league.
Fair enough. With that performance from Chelsea, then, do you think they probably underperformed a bit? We've said they're the favourites for the league.
They had a Timo Werner day. Funnily enough, they did it against Burnley. They should have won 4, 5, 6 goals. They just create so many chances. What was it, 24 shots against 3 yesterday? Yeah. They just create so many chances. Lukaku's been out injured and they just haven't been finishing it. Get Lukaku back and he'd have scored 3 or 4 yesterday, for sure.
Lukaku's a weird one because he's not. He went out injured, but he's just struggled recently, even without injury. Like he was on the bench yesterday. There was no reason
he's just come back. He hasn't played yet since his injury. That yesterday when he came on was his first time he's played since his injury.
Well, it was a weird kind of lineup that they played though, right? Because I kind of was thinking like, where their goals coming from? Because it's not really their normal kind of goal scorers. I know Ben Chilwell's injured, but leaving someone like Mason Mount is where a lot of their goals have come from. I thought was a bit of a strange one. He's
been out with injury. I think so. They have, Kante was out with injury as well. They obviously just lost Chilwell. They showed the stat in the game yesterday. I think Chelsea have scored 14 of Chelsea's goals have come from defenders. The next highest was 3 for the next team who scored goals from defenders. So you can see like how important set pieces and their wing backs are to the way they play. And that's the one thing actually United did quite well is they closed down the wing backs. And Alonso isn't Chilwell. Alonso's good, but he isn't Chilwell, and Chilwell's been in ridiculous form. And Reece James was just had a bit of an off day, wasn't as good. So they're heavily reliant on their defenders for goals, while Lukaku's been out especially. And Kai Havertz isn't the clinical finisher they want. Timo Werner's, he's a bit of a joke of a finisher. Yeah. And where are more goals going to come from?
Fair enough. Do you want to talk about the transfers of the summer?
Yeah, we're doing our mid-season transfer review.
Yeah, so I was inspired to. It was just a subject I brought up because I wanted to talk about what our thoughts are on transfers from the summer, basically up till now, and some of the teams that do it. So I'm basically going to go team by team, name by name. No. Well, the main reason why I wanted to talk about this because I think that Arsenal may have had the best transfer window out of the lot. Obviously, we lost.
You've changed your tune.
Hey?
You've changed your tune quickly.
Well, look, how can they not have? They spent the most, was it in Europe, at least in the Premier League, right? And we're looking at their players, and we've got Aaron Ramsdale, who was a bloody laughing stock. We brought him in 30 million for Bournemouth. Are you kidding me? Look at him now. He might be the best goalkeeper in the league at this point in time.
Funny you say that. I was looking at some goalkeeper stats earlier.
Oh yeah, and?
Well, if based on goalkeeping stats, so save percentages, creativity, all the stuff, he comes in second behind Mendy as basically the best keeper in the league at the moment in the games he's played, and his saves per game is basically higher than anyone.
You might as well end this subject right now, then, isn't it? All in agreement.
It's good. Hey. My issue is he's coming up against Leno, and that's not a high bar for me.
It's not, but you're not comparing him to Leno. I think every single game he makes a world-class save.
Yeah.
And he did
last week. Arsenal could not get close to winning anything with Leno in goal. You just couldn't. You needed a None of us thought Ramsdale was it, but turns out he is.
I think you can objectively look at Ramsdale and say, regardless of Leno, Ramsdale's playing out of his mind. Now, is he sustainable? Is this what Ramsdale really is? I'd absolutely love it to be the case. Although you don't really want your goalkeeper getting peppered as much as he does. You think of like Petr Cech in the past and kind of good goalkeepers. They make 2-3 saves a game, and that's kind of when they'll leave it out, not where Ramsdale's at. The thing where I would compare to, and which I would try not to get too ahead of myself, even though I do think that Arsenal probably had the best transfer window, is actually looking at their fullbacks. Because if you compare, Tavares, he was playing against his opposition would be Tierney in terms of who he's up against. And Tierney's very good. He's just injured all the time. But Tommy Arshu, is he like Arsenal's best right back since Sagna? He's unbelievable. But I'm wondering if that's in comparison to Bellerin. I mean, is it the fact that he can actually run with the ball and pass the ball that I'm just getting happy about, or is he actually a good player?
It's a bit of both, because
I'll take that.
I was thinking with Arsenal, they probably have had the best transfer window, but I also think it's because the bar is lower. And no, but it's true, because it's like,
no disrespect.
They're Arsenal are playing great. Arsenal are this, but they're still fifth or sixth. I haven't got the league up. I think they're fifth
fourth.
Now. And it's like, oh, it's because the expectation was so low to start the season, and it's like under promise overachieve, which is what I feel like with Arsenal signings. It's like we got a right back who we thought we didn't even know who this guy was, and then it turns out, oh, he can run and pass. Great, he's signing of the season. We got a goalkeeper that's been relegated. He looks terrible. Oh, actually, he looks one of the best keepers in the league. And Ramsdale, I've definitely been super impressed with. The fullbacks, Tommy, I like.
Tommy,
yeah,
he's already on nickname terms with him.
Yeah, that's it. Local lad Tommy. Yeah. I actually, what I've seen, I have liked. But Tavares, I'm not. Jury's still out for me. I feel like he's like youngster, where he'll have 1 in 3 good games, and then that one good game overshadows when he's not so good. And what's the defensive?
You got Ben White, you got Lokongo.
Lokongo. I still feel like he's holding a place till Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't really know what Lokongo offers at this point, to be fair.
He's still young. He's still got a chance. But you need cover. You need a cover in midfield, and that is he can do a job there. I kind of agree with that. I think 20 million, or just under 20 million, Tomiyasu was. And Arsenal basically stole him under the noses of Spurs, because Spurs needed a right back, and it was literally so far done that they were in a line. It was written in a Spurs lineup the week before. That's how far done that deal was supposed to be. So I think Arsenal did a good job of getting him in. He's definitely been better than I thought. I kind of agree with Mark. I think Ramsdale was clearly, at the moment, for the last 15 games, been the best signing of the summer. The Ben White one is really funny. I like Ben White. I've been a big fan of his for a long time. And when they signed him 50 million, you were going, what the hell are they doing? I was like, I think he could come good. He had such a terrible start to the season. Those first 2 or 3 games, he got bullied. He couldn't win a header. Everyone was like, he's too small. He can't do anything. But he didn't have Gabriel next to him. And I think we all said, when he gets someone next to him who's big and tall and can win headers, he'll stand a chance. And what Ben White does going forward for you guys, I think, is vital. So, you've got basically a whole new back line there, new keeper, new centre back, new right back, a new fill-in left back who's going to play half the season. They're settling in well, and the jury's still out. We'll see. It looks like Arsenal hopefully going to beat the teams they should beat, lose to the teams they should lose to, and probably finish top 6, top 7. And I think Arsenal fans will be pretty happy with that.
It's a good foundation. I do think Arsenal are a Lacazette and Aubameyang replacement. They're 2 forward players away from being a solid team. Like, you look, they just don't score enough. Arsenal.
And Odegaard's a weird one, because I like Odegaard. He's a good player. He's a classic Arsenal kind of player. But you've got Emil Smith Rowe who can do that job, and he's kind of being pushed out to the wing, and there's just no need. Smith Rowe's proven he can do that job. So I don't know. Odegaard. But...
Did you include Odegaard in your summer signings? Because although he was,
not in my top summer
I kind of don't count.
I've got him written down. So it depends how you want to use it. I don't think it adds or takes away to the relevance of how good Arsenal has had with their signings. To be honest with you, it's not like I don't look at it being
You got to look at the outgoings. You got to think about what Arsenal, the likes of David Luiz and others, getting rid of them, like getting them off the wage bill, and those kind of players as well is a massive thing, because there's quite a lot of outgoings for Arsenal, Bellerin, and so it's a big changeover. And I think hopefully for the better. I think for that team.
Right, Dan. Clearly, you said we were going to disagree on who's had the best signings or the best signing.
Yeah.
Who's yours?
So my number 1 signing of the season is actually a loan. Can I have that?
Yeah, we can take that.
For me, it's Conor Gallagher.
Yeah.
And the reason it's Conor Gallagher is because not only has he just been awesome, he's got 3 goals, 4 assists, but you look at the stats of that guy. I mean, he was brilliant last year anyway when he was on loan, but this year, what he's done for that Palace team, we all sat at the start of the season before while they had cleared out all the old guard and brought in a bunch of new players half of us hadn't heard of. And we all said, this could make or break. Like, this could go horribly wrong with Vieira, or this could go really well. And I think Gallagher has been literally the linchpin of that team. You look at every single statistic. I was looking at it here. It was highest for presses, highest for crosses, highest for chance created, highest for everything in that team is Gallagher. Even goal contributions, it's him. And so he has been transformational for that Palace team. And I think without him in that, I think they'd have really struggled, and they could be in a relegation zone. So I think he's that important.
Well, they've gone off brand because they've gone for a player that doesn't really look like a Crystal Palace player. Doesn't look quick.
A little bit, yeah.
Doesn't look quick at all.
But he's exactly what they needed, and he epitomises what Vieira is trying to do. You know, he's a hustler, and I think we're going to see him talked about for England very soon. I think Tuchel will be looking at that, thinking, well, he could be in my team next year.
Well, this is what the interesting thing is, because you don't know whether Crystal Palace and a player like Gallagher is Crystal Palace is doing as well because they've got someone like Gallagher, or is Vieira actually a manager which is improving the side as a whole, or is it the same thing? I mean, I don't know if you can separate him between players like him that are playing better and doing well versus the management of Patrick Vieira.
I don't know, but I think if you took Gallagher out of that team today, or for the last 15 weeks, however many games there's been now, if you took Gallagher out, one, they'd have about 10 goals less, and 2, I just don't know that if they hadn't won as many games, then they'd be right down there in the relegation battle. And so it could make the difference between them being in a battle at the bottom or not. That for me is an amazing signing.
Yeah, it's always difficult to play with 10 men as well. So.
Well, yeah.
I lean Gallagher. I'm mixed on just because I'm leaning towards Vieira being a good manager, and
anyone that can get Benteke scoring is a great manager.
Literally, I've got because he's got Benteke playing well, and I'm like, yeah, Palace do look like a team with a system, and
they do.
Yeah, it is early days, but I must admit Vieira has impressed me more than I was expecting. I thought he would be gone by this point, in all honesty.
Gone by this point? Oh, goodness me! But
because they had a really tough first 8 games where I genuinely thought they could easily have no points after 8 games, and we've seen Palace when they had no points after 8 games with what's his name, De Boer, and yeah. So I did think Vieira could be gone just because of a tough run of fixtures, but.
Can I tell you who I think
as well? He had a weird time at Nice. He had a really good start. Again, it was like brand new youth team, really good start, and then it just fell off a cliff and things went horribly wrong for him. So I hope that doesn't happen at Palace. But good start, and some good signings. Gehi's been good. Edouard's been good.
Do you know who I think have had bad transfer windows or not done well? So 2 Manchester teams, because I don't think Grealish is really kind of living up to the wage bill at that point. Manchester United
on my list of failures, as it were. Like, obviously, it's still early in the season; they could come good. But I think if you're looking at the last 10, 15 games for £100 million, my problem with Grealish is when I start looking into some of his stats, it's really misleading because actually he's like the top chance creator in City. He's actually got some really good stats on paper.
Is that like averaging on minutes and stuff like that?
But you know when you watch a game and you just know something isn't quite right, it just doesn't fit. And he just doesn't fit that system. He doesn't suit their style of play. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I've got him as a flop. I didn't do it like team success. I've done who I think's been the best so far, who I think have been good, but the best is yet to come, and then who's been a flop. And I've put Grealish as a flop. I'm like,
well, the thing with Grealish
I really can't see it getting overly better other than Man City are so good. He's going to have good games. Like he'll have a game where he'll look amazing because Man City.
Would it surprise you to hear that Grealish is top 3 in the league for chances created?
No, but then I bet about 6 of the other top 10 are from City. It's like
no, they're not at all. They're not at all.
The one thing City do is they do share their stats out. Like
well, the thing with Grealish is what I wanted to say was the thing with Grealish is that the guy is someone that wants to play with the ball at his feet and just kind of express himself. Where Pep is very much about his system and the way in which he wants to approach team football. And that's worked well for a lot of players. It's worked incredibly well for someone like Sterling, who I think isn't as skillful as someone like Grealish, but will certainly thrive more because he's probably going to fit in line with what is needed from Pep more. So you've got someone like Grealish.
Turn up at the back post and tap it in.
That's what you've got to do, isn't it? That's what you've got to do. But you think Grealish is just going to want to do that week in, week out. The guy does not show his calves off just to be doing tap-ins. You know what I mean? He wants to step over. He wants to look like he's set himself apart from the rest of the team. But, you know, I mean, who knows? Like, he's taking his chance here. I like Grealish a lot. And for England, I want him to play well as well. So if he plays for Manchester United and he can perform, then I'll be relatively okay. Obviously, you don't want Manchester City being like running away with it. But I can't really envision, maybe Manchester United. I just can't envision any other big team that Grealish could play for in the Premier League. And he deserves the opportunity to at least play for a big club. So we'll see. I would put him more in a maybe pile. I don't know about a flop yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a flop. But they're all a maybe. I mean, I'd put him in the same bracket as I put Sancho right now, because Sancho's had a really difficult start to the season, and the system hasn't suited him. He didn't start for the first few games. He had some injuries. He's obviously had a slow start. I think he's really struggling. I'd put him in the same bracket. I wouldn't say he's a complete flop. Like he should, I'm sure.
Well, he's not good.
I think Sancho's improving. I think he the last 2 games. I know it's not.
Yeah, funny that.
But he does look like he's improving. Sancho.
Well, he's not had a chance though, has he? I mean, the whole discussion is around Ronaldo coming in and kind of putting a bit of a stopgap in between his development and playing in the team. Like Ronaldo isn't just there just to kind of score goals. He's taking positions from other players, and Sancho obviously isn't reaping the rewards from having Ronaldo there. Look at him on yesterday rather. That chance he took was excellent. I mean, that's not a chance that many people will take on a one-on-one like that on the short side.
Rashford didn't do him any favour. You start looking at him and go, why are you offside? Get offside.
Like, I was like, please don't pass it to him. Oh my God, what was he doing?
Don't know. You can see in his face, he looks like 4 times like, what are you doing? And then he's like, all right, I'll tap it in then. Funny.
But yeah, Man United saying that they haven't had the great signings. I don't necessarily agree, because I think Sancho looks like he's improving. Varane, I've got world class, but seems to be made of. I put class and glass as my 2 words for Varane. It's like if he could just get a run of games, it just.
I guess part of this exercise is also like has the teams reaped the rewards of getting these players in just yet? I mean, maybe in the future they'll do better, but currently I don't think the signings for Manchester United are probably doing exactly what they want. Same thing with Grealish. Same thing with probably Aston Villa's signings, to be fair. Yeah,
because I put in that category Leon Bailey, and I think I see improvement now. I think there's going to be a good player.
I think he's got a bit of a baggy touch. Like he's all pace, isn't he?
No, I don't know. I think he's got
good
good quality. Yeah.
All right.
Just Ashley Young's taken over free kicks from him.
Now there's a signing for you.
The ageless wonder.
Ashley Young on a free is a good signing any day.
Because I was like, I'm interested in what him and Gerrard would have had as their first conversation, because that was like a bit of a little rivalry at United Liverpool times, Young and Gerrard. So they weren't like eye to eye. So
I'm sure they respect each other. Like they're both professionals. They know what it's about.
So there's another one on my list of top
flops. Oh.
No, there's another one on my list of top.
Can I guess this? Can I guess this? You're going to go for Newcastle.
No, I'm going for a player.
Oh, player.
A good, like one of the top signings of the summer, I think. Most important for their team.
Are you going to say Lukaku?
No.
I was just going to say, because
he's going to say Patson Daka.
Patson Daka is officially the highest goal scorer in Leicester's European history. Just don't forget that.
Who are you going to go for? Who is it?
Maxwell Cornet, the forgotten man, £13 million. The guy has scored more than 30% of all of Burnley's goals. He scored I was looking at the stats earlier, 5 goals in his last 8 games. He scored some worldies in that. He's got a couple of goal of the months in there. For 13 million quid, where would Burnley be without him? Honestly,
they're in the relegation zone.
Yeah, but he scored like over a third of all their goals. Without him, they literally would be nowhere. They'd be bottom.
Well,
I
I
think
don't know
that's
where
a
they're at, though. They'll be nowhere, but I don't know where they're at. Like,
Yeah.
what are you
It's
talking
one of
about?
those-
player that you sign in the summer that comes in and hits the ground running like that, even regardless, even if it's a club like Burnley, scoring goals at that kind of rate, contributing to the team, and being so influential and important, you got to say that's a good sign.
Well,
For
look,
Burnley,
like you said,
great
what did you
signing.
say? How many goals has he scored?
5 goals in his 8 games.
I mean, if he gets to double digits, then they're not getting relegated. That's good. That's going to prove the top.
There you go, right? That's the difference. Sometimes you need a goal scorer, and if he's the guy, well, great. I think that's a good signing for Burnley so far.
Yeah, I mean, good for them, I guess. I mean, if they stay up, I don't know how relevant that is. Can I say who's bad?
Yeah.
Who's had a bad one? The Tottenham Hotspurs.
Yeah.
I was going to say Christian Romero. Christian Romero was the same price as Ben White.
Brian Gill.
Brian Gill.
Yeah.
Gill.
Yeah, but he's like 19, so give him a chance. That's a young kid they brought in.
Yeah, but am I
Romero,
right?
They spent 50 million quid on.
Am I right in thinking that the only player that's playing is Emerson Royal?
Yeah.
I mean, what happened? What's happened? Are they all injured? What's going on with me? I've clearly not been watching enough Spurs.
Romero had some issues because of Argentina with COVID. There was a bunch of games he missed because of travelling to internationals and all sorts. So he hasn't played as much as he should have. But I don't think he gets the coverage that Ben White did. They were the same price, basically. And I think you compare their seasons. I mean, what's Christian Romero done? They've not been very good, Spurs, defensively. He's hardly played. I think that's a big flop.
Well, I guess they changed their manager, so I guess they're clearly not doing very well. I just don't know how well they're going to do. I mean, I don't know.
Well, they're 3 points off top 4, aren't they, or something stupid with a game in hand?
Yeah, and the reason I put like Brian Gill as a flop is just because I try to remember what it was said when the signing was announced. Do you know, like I try and place myself back in August or July and think of the WhatsApp chats or the Sky Sports news about how good this player is going to be. And it was like, he was almost made out like he should be good this season. And yeah.
Maybe, but I think that's harsh. A teenage kid coming over to England, like playing in his first major football team, like give the guy a chance in a team that's been terrible, that's just changed their manager 10 games in. Like, give him a chance.
Well, I mean, but what chance do you want? Because I know age is a thing, and you've got to look for kind of what their ceiling's going to be, potential, and that's what you're investing in, right? But you want to see signs.
Yeah, and he was 20. I'm just looking. He was 22.5 million quid, so it wasn't little money.
And Eric Lamela.
Yeah, but even still, he's not started. I'm just looking. He's not started a single game in the Premier League yet. So
no,
how can we even knock him? Like he's hardly played. He averages 12 minutes a game for Spurs.
Well, the thing is, we've not seen him, and the old saying goes, "You don't know what you don't know." And what I don't know is Brian Gill, so therefore it's a flop.
Yeah, although I've got a bigger flop so far, I think.
Go on.
And this guy came with huge expectation, and that's Saul.
Yeah, he's top of my list, Saul. Yeah. That is a shocker.
All I heard was Chelsea have got a swoop here. This is going to be the best player midfielder in the league.
Well, United wanted him as well. Everyone was saying, why didn't United get him? Because United needed a brilliant ball-playing midfielder.
It's one of those where your team gets rumoured to go with a player, they don't get it, and then you get stick for them not getting it. It's United should have got him, and now he's played twice for Chelsea. One game actually, I was in the Champions League where when I was researching for this, the articles afterwards was how this will kickstart his revival, and then he never played again. So it was like,
is he even on the bench? I don't think Ruben Loftus-Cheek is now in over him. I mean, that is bad.
Yeah, I really don't know why or what's going on, but
it's weird when you look back on.
They've got a lot of midfielders though.
Yeah, it's weird when you look back at some of the players that have been signed and actually left and all the player moves. You're like, gosh, what happened to that player? You kind of think, they kind of had some buzz to them. I guess because when it's transfer season, we probably have a look most days at what's going on and who's been bought and this player's 20-something million, blah blah blah. You know, like, surely they're a good player, and there's just so many ones that you don't feature. Like he's been injured for the most part, isn't it? But Konate for Liverpool.
Yeah,
I think that's going to still be a great signing. I know he's been injured a lot. I think he's
it's hard to say, obviously, not seeing him play in the Premier League and things like that.
He played 2 games and he was excellent in both of them.
Yeah. But
and like even it sort of should help Sal, but like Liverpool have been so good that a new signing not necessarily playing week in week out is understandable because their team's been clicking. It's yeah. So I should, in fairness, I should say that about Sal, but I don't feel the same way with it.
Well, none of those. We haven't even said who was top of my flop list yet.
Ooh.
I can't believe we haven't mentioned him, especially you,
Wait,
Chris.
wait. Did you not say it?
Joe Willock.
How
Joe
is it?
Willock, £20 million to Newcastle. The guy who scores every time he plays for Newcastle. He's been useless.
Biggest flop. That's funny. But go ahead.
Well, he is. They spent £20 million. That was their big signing. He's done literally nothing. He's been useless.
Yeah, but it's a shit
You were
team.
just saying, give the young kids a chance.
Yeah, give the young kids a chance. He's only 25. No.
Yeah, but hold on. This is a guy who's had 2 years in the Premier League now. He's not 19 years old. Like, he's older than that.
He's 21 years old. Come on.
He signed because he scored, 8 goals in 10 games last season or something for them. So they signed him. Not one goal involved, nothing. I mean, I think he's been a flop.
I mean, it's probably not turned out as well as they'd hope, but
Yeah, I always thought it was a weird one because he went on loan, had a good spell, and then liked it.
he's probably trying to earn his place at Arsenal, and then
I think everyone at Arsenal, you could tell within 20 minutes, this guy's got a ceiling that's Arsenal or above. Do you know? Like, I don't think there was many Arsenal fans who were like, Joe Willock is the future.
I was happy to see him leave.
Yeah, I think 20 million, they bit the hand off. So, yeah, it's a flop in terms of I think Newcastle overpaid, but I don't think it's going to be the last time Newcastle overpay. So,
Certainly not. No.
Well, do you know what? I don't know if there's any more that you guys want to say, but just to put a little bow on it, is there any more that you got some interest in?
There was a couple that I think are worth mentioning. Like we talked about Josh King earlier. Josh King on a free for Watford is a great signing. I think Emmanuel Dennis for $4 million could turn out to be a great signing for them as well. He looks the real deal, coming from like an unknown Belgium team. And then the other one is Livramento at Southampton. I know they've been on and off, but he's been probably their best player.
He's Chelsea, right? He was Chelsea.
But they bought him for $5 million, and I think that's a great signing because they got rid of Brian Bertrand. They sent him to Leicester, replaced him with Livramento. I think that's a big upgrade.
Dan James, good, bad, or other?
I think it's been all right so far. I think he.
Danny says no.
Fits.
It's difficult when you spend 25 million quid on him. You obviously want something. Leeds have just had such a tough season. They've had so many injuries, and they've just been really poor. So, jury's out. I'm not saying it's a flop. Like, jury's out. He was their best player on the weekend. To be fair,
I think he's been their best player a few times, but he's not going to get you loads of goals. What he is an honest player who runs loads, who covers a lot of ground. I think
he also kind of
look, he's definitely
almost 25 million these days.
Well, I mean, he's definitely Premier League standard. He's definitely Premier League standard. Look, he'll be in the Premier League hopefully for a number of years and just playing. I just don't think. I think starting at or getting signed by Man United might have risen expectations from that. Probably was a bit unwarranted.
Yeah,
it's weird how his career is developing, because if it had been the other way around, like it should have been, and he'd actually, because he was at Leeds with the T-shirt ready to sign and United stole him. If he'd signed for Leeds first, been involved in their run to win to the Premier League, and had been involved in the team last year, he'd be talked about and probably be signed by Man United or one of the big teams now. It'd have been, I think it'd have gone the other way, because he's so pacey, and they said he's a hard worker, so he would suit a lot of teams. I don't know. Leeds have really struggled this season, and if you're the best player in a terrible team, is that a good thing? I don't know.
Well, you just said that about fucking Burnley's guys, so there you go.
Yeah.
But Dan James isn't scoring goals and contributing like Max Cornet is contributing to Burnley.
Well, they're above. Yeah, they're above Burnley.
Yeah, not because of Dan James. They were, because the first few games when they had Rafinha and Bamford, they were scoring. They've been useless since they left. Since they were injured.
We got to readjust our understanding or kind of like thing around price tags, because 25 million is like 2 million a few years ago, isn't it? It's ridiculous, like what the prices go for. You kind of got to readjust your mind with it, right?
Well, this is why, again, Cornet was half that price. So then I would say that's better value than Dan James has been.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Should we go to Results League or Champions League draft?
Let's talk about Champions League draft. I enjoyed this week.
No, I had a great week with Champions League draft.
But there's no Champions League this week.
No, but we might as well do our changes now for 2 weeks' time, just in case we forget. Get this admin out of the way. So yeah, I had a great week because I had what they called. I had Leipzig in my team, and they scored. No, wait, sorry, I forgot. I swapped Leipzig for Club Brugge because Leipzig were getting hammered, and what they went and done is give out a hammering to Club Brugge 5-0. So good for me, Chris. Well done.
Solid choice that was.
Wonderful choice. This is just kind of how this thing's going with my football this year. I've got a lot going on. Do you know what I mean? I can't be watching all the football. I've got a life to live, you know.
To be fair, you still beat Mark this week.
I did still beat Mark. You, on the other hand, Dan, had a monster week. You've had a monster 2 weeks, in fact, and you've taken the lead. Look at that. That's horrific.
0 to hero in 1 week.
So last week, Danny
you.
was the highest scorer with 430 points. Massive, massive results from Ajax and Chelsea, it looks like.
Chelsea hammering Juve, yeah. And United.
Juve, terrible team. Do you know what? So I'm going to go on a little tangent now. Because I think I saw this on Twitter or maybe on TV, and it's like Ronaldo is like the opposite of. He's like Mourinho, but it's a player. Every club he's left now is just turned into absolute shit. So you be careful now when Man United when he leaves Man United.
Actually, I saw something that was about managers. So I think we talked about this last week.
Oh, his internet's gone.
There he goes.
The other week, didn't we? But when he went to, hello, am I still there?
Yeah, we agree with everything.
Great, that's the end of my point. No, when he went to Juventus, Allegri had been there for like 5 years, and then he got the chop. Then Pirlo got the chop. Obviously, he's come to United. Ollie was there for 3 years. Ollie's got the chop. He's the manager killer.
Yeah, he's killing everyone. But they did well. Ajax did well for you. Wolfsburg, not so much, but it was okay because you absolutely hammered it this week with 430 points. It's a big score, big score. Mark, on the opposite end, it's funny how like you look at the scores and you're like 1 week, I've got a great lineup, and then 1 week, fucking hell, Mark, how have you got such shit teams? Paris Saint-Germain, Milan, Salzburg, the only decent sides, Man City, and they didn't do well in the Champions League. 190 points.
I love that you just dismiss PSG like
yeah, but the Galacticos of the world.
I'm putting PSG in the shit pile.
Why? They
lost to Man City.
Man City have qualified. That's better than half of your teams you've picked.
All right, I still beat him. No, my teams are pretty decent. Bayern Munich, they're going to win the whole thing, maybe. Liverpool, they're probably going to win the whole thing, maybe. Atalanta, I'm not so sure. Club Brugge, that was just a flyer. And I'm getting rid of him next round, so I don't give a fuck. I got 240 points, so still a low-scoring game, but hopefully we'll start getting big scores soon once we get into the knockout stages. Mark, you have an opportunity to switch one of your teams out if you like. Now, bear in mind, like I've just said, once we get past the knockout stages, I'm giving you a little clue here, but I shouldn't do. We're going to drop down to 3. Is that right? 3 teams? Yep, in the last 16?
Yeah. But we get points if our team qualifies.
You get the points if they qualify, right, and then they get rid. Yeah.
So the thing, strangely, despite you saying all my teams are bad, all 4 have a chance.
They are.
Of
qualifying. All in contention. Yeah.
Have Milan got a chance of qualifying? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they just.
Oh, Atletico have been so bad, haven't they?
So Milan have to beat
Liverpool.
So.
Well, they might, because Liverpool qualified. They'll play
qualified, yeah. So it depends what team Liverpool play exactly. So and to be honest, I spoiler alert, I'm not going to change any teams because Milan are the only ones I'd probably consider, and of the other teams I can pick, I think they will rock bottom. That pot 4 is pot 4 for a reason, clearly, because I think they're nearly all bottom of their group. So. Yeah, I'm gonna stick.
You're keeping Salzburg. That's interesting.
It's more who to swap.
There's a chance they might not go. Well, if they lose to Sevilla, they don't go through, do they?
Yeah, but then it's Porto who are already out. Shakhtar Donetsk, I think, are bottom.
Benfica,
Leipzig, Benfica was in it. So what Leipzig just won. I don't know. I'm sticking. Roll the dice. They're my boys.
I reckon Benfica is a good shout this week. I don't want to give anything away. I just have.
Yeah, you've given it away proper. It's really difficult. I was looking at this for ages earlier on because so many of my teams are like in contention, but could they actually make it through? And that's the difficult thing. Who did you say? Who's Benfica playing? Dynamo Kiev. But that will mean
Benfica are playing Kiev and Bayern are playing Barca. There is every chance that Barca are going to be playing in the Europa League. In my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
That's not. Is that ever? I can't even think the last time that would have happened.
That would have been a long, long time ago. But
Yeah.
there is every chance that Benfica beat Kiev and Bayern beat Barca at home. There is every chance.
Well, I'm trying to decide whether Benfica's more likely to go through, or I'm looking at Porto potentially. I mean, they're still in second place because I'm trying to get rid of someone in pot 3. I've basically given up on pot 4 because none of them are actually getting through or doing anything half decent. Or is that like
Atalanta have got Villarreal, haven't they?
I know.
Tough one. Tough one, that.
Do you like that? Yeah.
No, Atlanta at home to Villarreal. I mean, any of them could, like Benfica, Atlanta, any of them could go through. Porto, even they all could go through. That's a tough call. I don't know. Rather you than me.
I just want to do something. Like I want to have some kind of part to play in this and just not let the teams play themselves out. This is really bad radio. I know. I appreciate that. Or all the listener.
Optimistic.
Yeah,
he's gone from having a strong 4 to
let
them play out and die.
It's in my mind what I was going to do, and now I don't, which is annoying. I should have written this down earlier.
Well, the other problem we've got, Chris, is Bayern and Liverpool both so qualified they're going to play B teams. So there's every chance that all your teams lose this week.
Yeah, it's a good chance. It's a good chance. I'm going to change Club Bruges for Sheriff just for the crack. I did it last time for the crack. I'll do it again for the crack, just so I'm doing something out here.
What a nothing goal.
Yeah, that's a nothing pick, and that's what I'm going to do because Club Bruges disappoint me so much. And they're going to come out and win fucking 5-0. But it's for the crack. There you go. Danny, do you want to do anything with your
Club Bruges are playing? No, because the only thing I would have done was swap Wolfsburg out for someone. And Wolfsburg have a chance, slim chance, I think, of getting through, but very slim. I just can't see any others doing it. So I'll just have to stick with them, hope they win their home game, and then they'll get cut.
There you go. So our teams are: Danny has Man United, Chelsea, Ajax, Wolfsburg. Mark has Paris Saint-Germain, Milan, Salzburg, and Manchester City. And I have Bayern Munich. Now I have Sheriffs, Atalanta, Liverpool. Currently, the scores are: Mark is behind with 1,405 points. I've got 1,465 points. Danny has taken the lead now with 1,540 points. Lovely.
Low scoring game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a low scoring game this season. Don't know what's going on. But there you go. Results League. Results League in a bag. Not good for any of us. You know, it's kind of good that we didn't decide to do the 3-team bets week in, week out, because we're not doing very well as a collective. Danny, the curse of Danny, cancelled games again, had Spurs versus Burnley, so we're going to put that aside and leave that as your fixture to be played at a later date. Yep.
I had 3 of them last year, do you remember? So I've now got a game in hand. I feel like I've got power again.
Power, or just a loser. I went for Liverpool to beat Southampton 3-0. 4-0 was the game, so I just get 1 point. That's unfortunate. Very close. Mark went for Chelsea to beat Man United. Didn't believe in his team. They got a draw, but you get no points for that. So there's a game midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we've got weekend games. So for the pod and admin reasons, we're going to do 2 teams today, yeah?
Sure.
Anyone want to go first? With your first week?
I'll go first.
Go on, Dan.
So midweek, I'm going for a Rafa shit show. I'm going for a 3-0 Liverpool away win at Everton.
Why did I think Rafa Benitez was in Newcastle? Because I just started writing that. Liverpool, what was the score?
Liverpool 3-0.
3-0.
Rafa to be under serious pressure.
Liverpool
to win 3-0, not Everton.
That's what I said, right?
Yeah, you were putting 3 for Everton. Yeah, away.
Sorry, my typing is not very good, Dan. Thanks for pointing that out to the people.
You're welcome.
I'm more of a pen and paper guy.
Who's yours this week?
Oh, it's an away fixture. My one for the first one this week. I almost want to tell you my second one now, but I'll go with the first one. My one is going to be Newcastle versus Norwich. Newcastle to beat Norwich at home 2-0. Easy peasy. Let's get them points rolling. I mean, how am I not going to do that? Basically, we just basically what score it is really.
So I'm going to do the return of Jamie Vardy and back scoring. I'm doing Leicester to beat Southampton, and I'm going to go
9-0.
Yeah. Honestly, Southampton. Sometimes I watch them and they're so bad. But
Yeah, it could
I'll
be.
go.
Like, this is a classic. Could be 9-0.
I'll go 3-1 to Leicester. But
that's what, once I figure out how to spell it again. Jesus fucking Christ.
Leicester.
Leicester.
You try and sound it out, and you're like Leicester,
Leicester sauce.
Isn't it? Leicester Square. Sound like Americans. Oh my God, I love Leicester. Favorite place. Would you say 3-1?
Yeah.
Leicester to beat Southampton 3-1. That is home or away?
That is away.
Away.
Thank you. Go on, Mark. You carry on with this.
Okay. Well, the next fixture. I'm going to go. I don't normally do home fixtures, but I am going to do West Ham to beat Chelsea in the next round.
Oof, early kickoff.
Yeah. So West Ham to beat Chelsea. I'm hoping I'll forget about it, so the curse of the 12:30 doesn't count if you don't remember. So I'm gonna go West Ham 2-0.
I really like that.
I think this is where I think me and Mark are like so similar with this stuff, because 2 fixtures makes us throw in one real stupid one. Because I've gone, because I've like, all right, I've got points in one of them. I've done a safe option with Newcastle to beat Norwich, easy peasy. My next fixture for this week is Wolves to beat Liverpool at home 2-1.
Oh.
You're going to laugh because I was so close to picking Watford to beat City this week. Because I've got to pick Watford and I've got to pick
do it. Yeah.
Do it.
Let's all do it.
I'm too far behind.
You do it, Dan. I'll do that treble. You do it. I'm back in West Ham, Wolves, Watford treble.
I'm too far behind. I need the points, and I'm going to go boring. I'm afraid. I'm going to go Leeds to beat Brentford at home.
You fucking boring fuck.
Like that's certain.
No, it's not. But I need to pick them, and I think Leeds. Actually, the reason I picked that honestly is because Brentford have 2 days between their 2 games, and Leeds have like 6 or something stupid. So
I don't even know if Brentford has subs. So
exactly, they've got such a thin squad that I just assumed they're going to be dead. And they got an early-ish kickoff on Sunday, and they've got a late-ish kickoff on Thursday or something. Thursday. So whereas Leeds are way earlier than that. So I think Leeds are on the Tuesday.
I was tempted to do Brentford to beat Spurs.
That's a home game, that Leeds game, but I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1. Very good. Lovely. So the scores on the doors. Danny. You there, Dan? Oh, you don't want to say anything, Dan?
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
You know what I was just going to say? Do you know what your score is?
Yeah, I can see it right in front of me. I'm on 5 points with the game.
I want you to say
I'm basically on 9 points because I'm going to get.
Say you're so happy about yourself Champions League draft. I want you to just sit in and stew in this low-scoring game that you're.
Don't worry, because it's going to be even worse for you when I come back and win it. It's going to be even worse.
We'll see. Mark,
should we talk about fantasy football or not?
You've gone in double. No, let's not.
Exactly.
I'm out. I'm not. You can have it. I'm done with fantasy football. I'm about to spend 21 points or whatever it is. 22 points. Have it.
History has shown that's always a good tactic.
Yes, very good.
But also, the funny thing about that is normally it's this time of year when Mark is throwing in the towel and Chris is giving you so much shit because you're like, I can't believe you're just going to do this, so that you've now got an excuse for the end of the season to go, well, I gave up, didn't I? So it's such a cop-out.
Correct. Yes.
Oh, well, I just had to beat you again. What can you do?
Mark, you got 10 points and I've got 14 points. Sound good?
Yeah, double game weeks all to play for this
Lovely.
this round.
We've got a double game week. We've got, what does that mean? How many games does that mean? 20 games? On a scale of 1 to none, how many games will Mark watch this week?
I watched the Sunday games. It was the Saturday games I missed.
Nah, Saturday games are difficult. Like, we all got
I
stuff
think
to
the
do.
midweek ones are all on Amazon Prime, aren't they? So they're all
Are
gonna be
they?
carried.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. I'm working, so I can put it on my phone. That's magnificent.
But so all of them are available. Which one are we going to pick? Which game should we pick? The Merseyside Derby or?
I like days like this. It's like Champions League one because we each can watch a different game, innit, and do a report.
I'm tempted to watch Leicester Southampton because I do think that could be a 9-0. Genuinely.
9-0, shut up.
Yeah.
To who? To Leicester?
To Leicester, yeah.
I mean, I
It
hope
feels
so,
like
Vardy.
Southampton just have it once a season, typically against Leicester. So I don't know.
I mean, it can't
Okay,
not.
well, I'll watch Man United Arsenal. Danny, you watch Southampton Leicester, and Chris, you can watch Newcastle Norwich.
They're all on different days, so we can watch all three of them.
Yeah.
I'll watch. I'm more likely to watch Everton Liverpool on Wednesday, I think.
Yeah.
The kickoff times are a bit random, though, isn't it? It's like you can watch one game's first half, and then at half time you got to flick on the next game. Yeah,
That is
like-
weird, actually, isn't it?
It has to be something.
Yeah.
It has to be something Amazon's asked for any particular reason, isn't it? More interactions, isn't it? Get like some shit games starting early and then get the rest going later. Don't know.
Yeah.
Just guessing.
They should have just banned all games up north as well this week. Just play
That Leicester
every.
City game was nuts,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Just play all games in London this week.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
What is with that? What is with not? You text earlier in the week about the orange ball, but you're right. Why are they not using the orange ball? Like, I can't
You
see
see it
it.
in
like-
some games.
Yeah, I was like, is this a thing of the past now? Like, I know they have a winter ball every year, which is the yellow ball. But I was like, yeah, they definitely needed an orange ball for that City West Ham game. Like,
Oh, for sure. And the Leicester game. The Leicester game was ridiculous as well.
I'm
also
sure,
shows
like,
you that
with
the
the,
cameramen are still men, aren't they? Like, they're still like
Yeah,
humans
well,
trying to follow the
only
ball.
thing
It's
worse-
like,
The only thing worse was the Brighton Leeds game earlier in the week where they were wearing the same colour kit. That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
how are Leeds allowed that as an away kit? Sorry, I meant to
It was
check that
nonsense,
group.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. What were they? Had a blue kit.
They've got
They
like
were
a
in the
light
same
light
kit.
purple kit. It's very light. So you imagine Leeds only wear it when the other team are clashing with white. So then they have to wear this very light purple. It's like almost the colour of our all talk background. Like,
Yeah, and they were playing Brighton, who obviously play in blue. So it was like,
not
and it was
purple
like
at
a
all, that's
faint
blue.
blue. It was
but
just
it's more purpley than that, yeah. Purple. and
get a
blue.
clip. It's ridiculous. I was watching the highlights and I couldn't work out who was who. It was just nonsense.
It's a new meaning to the word highlights. Front three, back four.
Sure.
Mark's got to get away. I'll start because I'm usually quick with this. Okay, my front three this week is second chances. Second chances in my front three this week because Sweden's first female prime minister has recently been appointed today for her post as prime minister after quitting it after an hour of being appointed last week. I won't get into the minutiae of Swedish government because I don't know it. But apparently, just the way that it kind of worked out for her is that she was trying to have a coalition government, didn't work out, decided that they need to do their due process where she has to apparently quit on purpose, and then she got reappointed and voted back on her. Apparently they've got like eight big parties, and that's why it's quite difficult in terms of their laws and stuff. So in terms of making appointments, so that's why it's a bit of a complicated system, I guess, for her. But she's back now, so that's good. Second chances, and they can't say it's only white men that get jobs back after they've been fired.
Is 8 big parties the reason they didn't lock down then? Because they were always used as the non-lockdown model. And is it just because they couldn't make a decision, or they couldn't get past a lockdown through because they've just got too many cooks? It's like
maybe they're just like super cash, like maybe they're just not too fussed. I mean,
yeah.
I mean they're doing their lockdowns now, so a lot of use that was. In my back four this week is I feel like I'm going to be taking someone's. It's almost like breaking news. It's Twitter. No, all right, lovely. I thought Danny would be all over that. I know you don't use your main Twitter, but you've definitely got like 8 burner accounts.
Oh, without doubt. I've got loads.
Easy,
Yeah.
easy. I've just got the one. Yeah, Twitter is on my back four this week because it's one of its founders and CEO, Jack Dorsey, has decided to step down as chief exec, which is a big deal for some, not for others. I like Twitter. I'm not much of a social media guy, but Twitter is something that I quite enjoy. I ebb and flow between.
That was his tweet. I love Twitter.
And I'm that basic. I follow him, so I saw it.
Oh, is it?
No, I don't know if I follow. I think someone shared it. Like
I follow him actually, weirdly.
Yeah, it was a bit worrying.
You are absolutely up in his DMs, boy.
Yeah. Well, he
try to tell him about some young footballer and like, oh, you need to invest in this guy.
Well, he stepped down, and after announcing he stepped down, Twitter's share price shot up, which I don't know if that's a good sign.
I know. Usually it goes down and goes back up, isn't it? But no, Jack. I don't know. He's an interesting character guy, proper like hippie, isn't he? But it's on my back foot only because I don't know if anything good's going to be happening from this. Hopefully, Twitter doesn't become something that's dog shit. Because oftentimes when some of these media outlets try and make changes, I used to like Snapchat, and they just fucking overfilled that bullshit. And Facebook became really difficult to maneuver with all the fucking ads and stuff like that. Twitter's still pretty simple in its approach. Hopefully, they don't overthink it and start to overcomplicate it a bit. I mean, the only bad thing they did was get rid of Donald Trump. So if that's the worst thing you've done so far, I guess it's not that bad. But then my back four, hopefully one day they'll be in my front three for not kicking me off.
Yeah, and Twitter's very useful for knowing when WhatsApp's down. So whenever all the Facebook apps go down, you go to Twitter just to make sure it's not your phone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It is a weird one, Jack Dorsey stepping down though, because he's been in the last like 6 months, he's started to become pretty vocal about getting involved in loads of stuff. He's introduced like the Bitcoin Pay thing. He's been like in loads of all the stuff, and out of nowhere, he's just gone, I've resigned because I think this other guy's a better leader than me. It was a bit of a weird thing.
I was reading something today, and he's obviously coming across and saying that he's stepping down for his reasons. But I mean, it was only some kind of like a business analyst type person, and just said it's probably more to it than meets the eye, and probably is. Who knows?
I can only imagine there must be something else he's about to do, because he's not the kind of guy who. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird the way he's been.
Either that, or I'm thinking maybe there might be me just being Mr. Paranoid as I usually am. I think Twitter's about to do something that he probably doesn't necessarily agree with, so that's why he kind of wants to separate.
Twitter going woke? Is it going woke?
Woker than it is now. You kidding me?
Yes.
That left-wing cesspool. Get me on 4chan quick. Anyone else want to go?
Yeah, I'll go then. I took South Park out of my front three just because they've got a pandemic special, but it's worth watching because it's set in the future, so it's funny. They're all grown up. But my front three was actually Mark James Williams. So
he's calling himself out, man in the mirror.
But the one of the greatest snooker players to ever play.
I smashed him. Why are you beating yourself up?
I know. Even Chris knows that's a lie. But
hashtag Big Red.
So he was in his World Championship game this week, and he fell asleep while in it. Yeah, it actually ended up a close game, but
he's an old man now, isn't he?
Yeah, halfway through the game, it was like 3-1. And he said he sort of leant forward, and he said he fell asleep, woke up, and didn't know where he was, and realised he was in the middle of a World Championship game.
I think they said to him, "It's your break."
Yeah, it's just
No one like that. Are we frozen, or was that just a bad joke?
No. I was pausing for laughter.
Sorry, give us more warning if you need laughter. But we not got the laughter button.
I'm just going to put a laugh track in there. You guys, hilarious.
What's this? The instant message pops up. Chris says laugh.
We'll do that in post-editing.
Yeah. So I just thought that was a funny story from three. Try and keep it light. In my back four is the fashion police. So we often talk about fashion police, and it's not. They're not actually real police, but now they are. So I don't know if any of you have followed the story in North Korea, but so Kim Jong-un, who likes his leather jacket and is sick of seeing people wear similar style leather jackets. So he has actually got a fashion police who has banned that leather jacket or anything that looks like it being sold because he wants to be the only one with it. So,
So you know,
yeah.
we were talking this week, Danny, about why can't people just
Autocratic
wear?
societies.
Yeah, why are people arguing about not wearing masks? This is exactly why.
Yeah.
This is what, whether you agree or disagree, people like me who just get flipped off at the smallest thing. It's this. We're looking at the bigger picture.
His stance on masks are unknown, I think. So,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but yeah, it's so there is a real life fashion police. So.
Honestly, if it wasn't so horrific, North Korea is quite funny.
Yeah, I don't know too much, but wasn't there a thing that about they had to have certain haircuts?
Yeah,
which was like his. So I'm like, this is very contradictory. Like, do you want them to be uniform and look like you, or do you want? Yeah, I don't know. So
ultimately, he can do what he wants.
But I do find it annoying when people wear the same clothes as you. In my late teens, early 20s, I used to be the check shirt guy, and then Chris started wearing check shirts all the time. So I had to change my style because I was like, we kept clashing both on check shirts.
That was like that time I bought some trainers. I was so happy with them. I came and saw Mark and he was wearing the same trainers.
Yeah,
I can't believe you bought them.
That's what I'm saying. Mark's a swagger jacker here. He's the one that takes everyone's style.
If it was up to me, then I would have banned it too to stop you copying. But Danny lived up north at the time. I don't even know how Danny copied me. He was up north at the time. It was
Yeah, I think I'd come down for Christmas or something. I was like, how have you? I was like, I literally found these in the back alley of a random shop, like nothing trainers. And I was really proud of them. I really loved them. And I've come back and he's like, yeah, I've got them. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So there we
Go
go.
on, Dan, finish
Dan, see us out.
Yeah, mine probably a bit more disappointing than they're both football related. But
do you know what? I swear to God, you need to start going first. Boy. You don't get this at all, do you?
I've been reading about football.
I actually think this is a relief because the last few months have been like crypto and NFT related. So this is actually not
one of them. But I thought I'd keep it from you because I figured you were getting annoyed at me. My back four this week is Portuguese football because I don't know if you saw the Benfica situation that happened this week. So on Saturday. Well, no, not with the ref. That was that was in South America. That was amazing, actually. But I won't take that. Match of the day already had that one. On Saturday, so Benfica played. They called Belenenses, which is a crap Portuguese team. Belenenses had a COVID outbreak, and so their entire team came down with COVID. So much so they only had 9 available players, 2 of which were goalkeepers. But the Portuguese league forced the game to go ahead. So they played Benfica with 9 players, 2 of which are goalkeepers. By halftime, they were 7-0 down. The game was carrying on. So they came out at halftime and said, we don't want to play the second half. And they said, no, you've got to carry on. And they said, right, well, we've got 3 injuries. So now we've only got 6 players. And so eventually, the law, the UEFA law says if you can't field more than 6 players, the game is called off and you lose 3-0. So they eventually called the game off. And it was a complete and utter joke. Because how they can let that game go ahead in the first place, it's only because it was Benfica and it's Portugal and they just let it happen. If it did the other way around and Benfica had 9 players, there's absolutely no chance they'd let that happen.
Well, I was going to say, like, if I was the other team, I would just start clamping people, isn't it? I learned it from Pro Evolution. If you have 3 or 4 red cards, you have to forfeit the game.
But they couldn't get
taking
near
people
them.
out.
They'd scored 4 goals in 10 minutes. They couldn't get near them because they got 2 outfield players as goalkeepers and they're two players short and they're playing the best team in the league and they're the worst team in the league. I mean, just nonsense. So absolutely.
Even Benfica, you think as a professional team would be like, we should fight for this not to be played because we'll get a 3-0 win and a week's rest. And managers,
I don't know, if you've turned up, you kind of want to just play, I guess.
But managers and players seem to hate playing football. That seems to be all they complain about is playing football. So having a week off, they'd love it.
I must admit, well, like when I used to play rugby week in, week out, I used to think, why am I doing this? I've got to turn up, I've got to play, and I just want to get through it so I can not play. Yeah. But I just do it week in, week out. I don't know why. I totally understand the concept of not wanting to play the sport that you play, even though, I mean, I had to pay to play. At least they get paid. I paid to play. I fucking hated it. I do miss it, though.
That's really weird.
To play again.
Yeah, I'm gagging to play again. I want that feeling again of hating playing.
That is weird. In my front three this week, also football related, is away supporters. You'll have seen this story, I'm sure. Obviously, we talked about the Spurs-Burnley game being called off. Did you see the two fans that came all the way from Dallas? They travelled for 31 hours. They got no sleep. They got all the way to Burnley to watch their first away game for Spurs, and the game was called off.
Genuinely gutted for them. Genuinely.
Well, did you see Harry Kane?
So I was going to say, the funny thing about the Harry Kane story is Harry Kane's tweeted them back and gone, "I've just seen this, gutted for you. Please come to the next game as my guest," basically. And then what I love is one of the very next things is someone has gone and fished out, this guy, the away fan, has fished out a tweet from God knows when, which just says something like Harry Kane is crap. Just like absolutely called him out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was an American who said last time there was a game postponed. I've come all the way from Dallas. He was on a train.
Someone asked him, "Have you been to any other games?" And he said, "The only other one we've ever been to was an away game at Stoke." And we're like, "What are you doing going to these games?"
They might have family that part of the world and just.
Well, no, you say that. I'm dying to go. Do you ever see Last Chance U? I'd love to go to America, to go to the middle of the fucking nowhere to see this random junior college football team to play. I love it.
But they weren't going to watch Burnley. They were going to watch Spurs that they could watch somewhere else.
Yeah, I found Kane's tweet funny because he was like, "I'll invite you as my guest to the next game if you're ever back."
Yeah,
I know. I was going to say, for the flights.
If you look at the end of his tweet, he's like, "Oh, if you happen to come back," or something like that. I was like,
"Oh, let me know when your flight's back here."
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you're free, innit?
Anyway, I thought that was there's lots of funny stories about away fans travelling and all sorts, but I just thought the whole Burnley calling it off thing was a bit of a, and I know the snow was bad, but the City game went on, the Leicester game went on.
They normally
you've got to be prepared
because of the surrounding area. So it's like they've cancelled games with Arsenal before, and it's because they say, "Oh, it's unsafe for the fans." Yeah,
that I get. But the reason they called it off was because they couldn't get the pitch clear. But that's because they only had 4 groundsmen. So look at City, what they did at half time. They had like 20 people clearing the pitch. They had 4 groundsmen, like 10 minutes. This is never going to happen.
I'm just guessing, Dan, but I think their financial positions are slightly different.
You're a Premier League team, man. Come on. I mean, I just think that's a shame. 40 minutes before the game or something as well. Anyway, so my front three is good travelling fans.
Lovely. There you go, Mark. 7:20 on the dot. Lovely.
Yeah. I better go. I still need to get changed.
Right. We will see you next week.